I want to ask, what were some auditions that really stuck out for you, and why did they stick out for you? I mean, even in the larger pool, not just the short list, but even in the larger pool, there were so many unique people, very diverse talent, very across the board. No two people were the same. What were some of the more memorable people and performances that your audience can learn from today?
Well, first and foremost, understanding that I'm going to be casting for a particular job and a particular company, which this happened to be the University of Phoenix. I had a demographic in mind that I want to advertise to, and I had a sound in my head that I thought would be a good representative of this particular company or university that would be able to sell effectively. And I think that every casting director has an idea in their head as to what kind of a voice they're looking for, which usually ends up in the specs, but sometimes they change their mind when somebody gets creative or maybe interprets the script in a little bit of a different way. And it was always those auditions that stood out to me, the ones that it wasn't like the song that I heard in my head, right? We were asking for authentic, we were asking for conversational, and those people that could really come into the first few words that sounded like they had a story, they had a person they were talking to. Those were the ones that perked up my ears. And of course, those that had a very different sound as well. I mean, I will say, I can't say that your sound doesn't come into play here because again, we're hiring people based upon how we think they're going to effectively sell our product.
Right.
What about you, Law?
I would agree. And I made a concerted effort to come in with a very open mind and play the producer who has not as much idea of what I'm actually looking for. I just know, I know the product, I know the school, I know the program, I've seen their advertising campaigns, I get that. Yeah. But I want to keep an open mind because I'm not exactly sure which direction I want to go in, age-wise, diversity factor, accent-wise. And I'm glad I did that because everyone was so different and so unique. I would have been let down only in the sense that I would have been looking for that needle in a haystack versus looking at the whole haystack. And because we did that, our shortlist was so diverse. There were no two people who were alike, right? You'd say, was there even a breakdown involved with this because it was so large?
And that's what's so cool. What I love about what you just said was I said, okay, I had an idea in mind, right? I know the demographic, I know the product, and I know the type of sound that I'm looking for, and that's what I'm going to put in the casting specs. However, you're absolutely right. By being open-minded and hearing a bunch of different voices, then I started to think, well, okay, for this campaign, I like this voice because of this factor. I like this voice because that's the one I originally thought would be a really great choice for selling. But now I can see that this other voice, which may not have been anywhere like I thought, right, would really be effective in helping to sell my product as a casting director. So yes, keeping an open mind and understanding, guys, that even though the casting specs may call for something, right, if you bring something unique to the read, you bring yourself, you bring that personality, you bring something that just makes us go, oh, okay, I didn't think about that. It really is a wonderful testament to literally your voice. It could be any voice, right? It doesn't have to be a particular sound. It doesn't have to be a particular style. It can be you. It can be what you bring to the read, and that can sway a casting director's choice, which is amazing, right? It's wonderful. It's hopeful, and it makes you feel like, all right, well, then I still am going to give my best, right? Well, if you're looking at the casting specs, you're like, I don't know, I'm probably not going to get it. I mean, no, don't feel that way at all because we were surprised.
Very.
And actually, even in our decisions, right, in terms of who were we going to cast when it came down to it, right? We were going back and forth between a couple of different voices. And I think that, well, let's keep these guys on hold or on callback or who else would be great for this campaign. There were multiple choices.